500,000 to 1 million sales during this year. Now, when you stop to realize that GM and Chrysler in this market are probably only selling 3 to 4 million total vehicles this year in '09, to be able to give them a boost of another million sales financed via credit unions is a big deal. And by the way, the attraction to GM and Chrysler on this was that one of the problems that is causing sales to lag is this credit crisis that we're in, the lack of affordable, available credit at the point of purchase, and credit unions are able to help with that.
Well, I have heard of that issue, not only from just regular people like myself, but also from small businesses that
Right.
They're having a tough time getting the loans that they need to run their businesses or run their households. So are credit unions, do you have money available to loan at this point?
Absolutely. What's encouraging is, as some lenders have had to pull back because of the credit crisis and the effects of the economy, we're seeing credit union loan volumes surge. In the third and fourth quarter, for instance, we're seeing various types of loans, whether it be auto loans or small business loans or mortgage loans. They're growing at a pace of about 10 to 12% per year during those intervals, the third and fourth quarter. We're seeing that continue on into '09. And in some cases, credit unions' loan growth rates are even better than that. And so, yeah, people are having access to credit via their credit union. Credit unions aren't perfect, and we're not going to be able to lend money to everybody in this economy, obviously, or in any economic situation. But we're encouraged by the fact that we're able to make loans that others aren't making right now.
Well, I'm sure that's good news for a lot of individual families and also small businesses. How do you see this Invest in America program relating to the larger economic problems or picture in America?
Well, first of all, the concept is very powerful. We start with the domestic auto industry, and by the way, people can find out more about this program at on the web at lovemycreditunion.org, www.lovemycreditunion.org. Our focus right now is on the domestic auto industry, GM and Chrysler, and we hope that Ford will come on soon. But we hope to expand this beyond that. We want to look at the largest corporations, the largest employers in the U.S., and list the companies out, list their products out, and encourage credit union members to think about, if they're buying an appliance, think about Whirlpool, right? That's a Michigan-based company. If they're thinking about any type of purchase, whether it's a recreational vehicle or a car or a boat or other household needs, think about your apparel, right? Department stores, whatever it might be, a motorcycle, any kind of a household good. Think about where those products are being manufactured. And we ought to all be predisposed to support especially Michigan-based companies and certainly U.S.-based companies. We're not saying that it's unpatriotic to buy an imported good. It's not. We have foreign companies who employ a lot of people in this country. But U.S.-based companies in particular, Michigan-based companies in particular, think how much good we could do for this economy if we all did our part to support those companies.
Well, that's a good point, Dave. I think that in the minds of many consumers, they're trying to make the right decisions for their own financial situation. Obviously, if they can save money on a car or a refrigerator, they can put that toward their child's education, which is also important and very patriotic. And we need a wonderfully educated workforce to excel in the future. But I think what you're doing, if they can receive the value for what they're getting and save the money and still put that money away, then by buying American, then that's going to make them probably feel a lot better as well.
That's right. So, it's about taking some control over the destiny of our country, support those companies that provide the jobs. Again, it's not unpatriotic to support foreign companies, but this is a time when we need to think a little more seriously about what we can do to help our economy, and that's what we're trying to do through the Invest in America program, focusing on the auto industry right now because it's near and dear to our hearts here in Michigan, but it extends out. And by the way, I wanted to make a point that one of the raps on the concept of Buy America has been that we're suggesting that people buy products that are somehow inferior to foreign goods. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth, especially if you look at the auto industry. You know, there are no better brands than those manufactured by our big three. When people look hard and they look at quality and fuel efficiency and variety, you know, they're great products.
As we've said, there are a lot of folks who are struggling right now. I chair a few appropriations committees here in Lansing. One is for the Department of Human Services, and I have to say that department, I was surprised to find out that they're touching about 1 in 5 of every Michigander. I think about 15% or so are on food stamps right now. People are hurting. People who perhaps have not been in that position before because of a loss of a job, or they've lost a high-paying job and they're having to pick up jobs that don't pay as much. So people are really struggling. Some are. I guess I want to ask you this. Do you have some thoughts and advice for those people who are having a difficult time right now? And I want to follow it up with another question later on, because I think sometimes there are opportunities during this time for those who have that entrepreneurial spirit as well. So let's go
absolutely.
first.
You know, first of all, there's no silver bullet. It's easy for me. I have a job. It's easy for me to say, you know, suck it up. You know, get busy and get back to work and pull yourself out of the problems that you're in. But you know, until we've walked a mile in the shoes of people who have lost their job and have found themselves overly indebted and facing the kinds of problems that many Michiganders are, you know, we really can't understand what they're going through. But what I would say is that I think that there's a heightened awareness in our country right now that government cannot solve our problems. All the talk about trillions of dollars of bailout money and every industry, every business looking for help from the government. What it truly is going to take, I think, to get our economy back on solid footing and to get us back on footing individually is to take more responsibility, individually and collectively, for our decisions. We have a lot of people who, with help or without help, they ended up being in homes that they should have never been in. We have people who have overborrowed. We, as a society and as individuals and households, have not saved properly. We've made a lot of mistakes. So what do? We need to get back to the basics of watching how we spend, improving the way that we plan for our futures, working harder than we're accustomed to working. That means, you know, sometimes we're going to have to demean ourselves a little bit and go work in a service industry job that pays very little, if that's what it takes to get started and get the education skills and start moving forward. But these are tough times, and I think that what we're learning is that we have to individually and collectively take more responsibility for our decisions and improve on the errors of the past. Lending institutions have been part of that. Individuals have been a part of the problems. But the bottom line is that government is not going to be able to bail us out of the problems that we're in right now. It's going to take resolve on the part of each of us individually and our families, pulling together, helping each other in families and in communities to come up with the solutions. We can do it, though. I'm an optimist.
Well, Dave, I'm an optimist as well, but I certainly agree with you. Government cannot do it all, and so many people are looking to the government and for a bailout. I've joked and with the economic stimulus package that's coming down, I've said I've seen people on the streets walking around with their list of here's what I want and here's what I'm going to buy. Well, it's not quite that bad, but it gets pretty close at times. And I think we do have to realize that it's going to take some self-sacrifice. And I think, as you said, I think it's going to take some folks helping each other. I think too many times we've looked to government just to do everything, when perhaps we can help our neighbors in some ways to kind of stay afloat and keep moving forward. And I think helping each other, we can make it, but everything isn't going to look the same way it looks right now. I think that's change.
And I think there's a greater responsibility for those of us who do have jobs and do have a little bit of extra income at times to see where we can help out a neighbor, help out a family member. People are hurting right now.